Hi everyone, welcome to the Parent Workshop for English 9P and 11P. My name's Felicia Pusateri. I'm the teacher, and in this video I hope to give you an overview of the courses and direct you to where you can find more information, and most of all, welcome you. So let me start with my background a little bit. Many of you know, hopefully familiar faces returning. I've been at Valley Oaks for, this will be my 17th year, and this is my 25th year of teaching. So I have certainly found a home at Valley Oaks because it is a very special place. And those of you who have been here know that what we have created is students and families and teachers, we've just really created this program that is special and that is very productive and meets a lot of needs, and very proud of that, very proud to have been part of that, and to really see our students thrive once they leave our program. So I hope to those of you who are new that you have a great experience with us, and those of you who are returning, hope to meet your needs as we have in the past, hopefully continuing forward with that good success. So I don't think we can get started without acknowledging last quarter and the current condition of where we are now. So it was obviously a tough quarter. Nobody expected and nobody understood what was ahead of us, and as we now still don't. But what I took away from that last quarter was just a lot of hope and a lot of pride in how well we all came together and just got through the situation, and not just got through, but really maintained a standard and helped each other and supported each other to get through and to manage to learn for our students and learn through it all. So something that helped me through it, that I shared with my students and with myself, was sort of a little motto that I had. And that motto was, we are patient, kind, and flexible with ourselves and with each other. And it's a time of high stress. We all have different circumstances and situations happening, and we all have a story. You know, we don't know what that is from one person to the next. So I think, coming from the assumption that we're all trying our very best we can. We all have the same goal. We want to be safe. We want to be healthy. We want to learn. We want our students to learn and be prepared for whatever comes next in their lives. But to achieve that goal, we really need to work together. And so I found that myself saying that, sharing that with my students for all the new things that are happening, all the barriers that we face and the new routines. And I think if we come from that place where we know, we assume that we are doing the very best we can really support each other by being patient, kind, and flexible with ourselves and with each other. So having said that, I expect a really good year, and I want you to know I'm going to do my absolute best to provide a good quality English class for you so that we can build on those skills and move you forward. All right, so in this video, again, I'll give you some basic components, and I want to start with the materials. So student resource guide, the green packet looks something like this. This will be in your materials. That will be where you'll get the details. So I said this will be an overview. Details of, you know, how you log on to things and different directions will be in this green student resource guide, SRG. It's for the students to use all year. Basically, we're going to attempt a paperless class, but I will have this packet, and depending on our need, we'll see through the year what other paper you'll get, but this will be the main one, so hang on to that. You'll get a writer's notebook. That's just a regular spiral notebook that we'll provide, and they'll have some strips that you'll need to make for tabs. And then a textbook. Okay, so make sure that you have all of your materials. I want to show you this because my job is to teach you how to think, to provide the skills that you need to develop those critical thinking skills and have those be honed in and developed so that you can do all the rest of the work that you need to do. So I like to show this because I feel that this is my job, to get you ready for this. So in your first year of college, the students will be expected to complete, and there it is. So you can see the volume of reading, the volume of everything there, of essays, of writing, 90 to 100 polished essay pages. That means complete formal writing. Just the sheer volume of this is something that I know we need to prepare our students for. So it's English. We're going to read and we're going to write, and we are going to do a lot of it. And I really feel good about our track record, having students come back and give us feedback and say, absolutely, the writing at Valley Oaks, you write in English, you write in history, you write in senior seminar, and you do it, in your science classes, and everything that we're doing, the feedback we're getting is that it is working, that our students are prepared. Our students understand the expectations and really do well. So I like there could be a time where you feel like, oh, gee, this is too much. And I'd really rather the students start building that stamina, start building that expectation of this is what it takes to be in a college prep class. That's my assumption, is that every single one of your students will be in a college setting when they finish high school. So it's my job to make sure that they can handle that they have the skill and they have the stamina and the endurance to handle that load. And it starts here, as most of you know, and the 11th grade, returning, you understand what it's like the first 2 years. Our new students, 9th grade students, you will quickly understand what those core classes involve. I like to show this slide because it is a kind of tallying of where we are as a county. So this is the percentage of Kern County students, not Valley Oaks specifically, the whole county, who are meeting or exceeding grade level standards in English language arts. So that means they're reading where they should be, their grade level, or better. And if you look at this, we can see that's only 38% total. When we look at 11th grade as 52%, but if we look at the total grades, it's 38%. So that means we have a lot of work to do. And it's really important that we understand that doesn't necessarily mean you got an A in this class, so that means you're ready for college. You really have to know what the courses are, what are the expectations are, and are they in line with what's going to be expected at the next level. So again, just keep this in mind that we have a lot of work to do, overall in our county, and we want to make sure our kids are ready for that next step. This one I like to show is called a college readiness gap. And what has happened in the past, 5 to 7 years for sure, is we have done a great job getting kids into college. And educators, everybody wants to pat themselves on the back. Great job, the kids are getting there. But what they're not talking about is the huge dropout rate. So the kids are being, encouraged and supported, go to college, go to college, go to college. And they're going through high school, and depending on what the curriculum is and what the standards are, the expectations, they're flying through high school. They think, okay, I'm ready for college. I did what I was supposed to do. And they get to college and they go, wait a minute. I don't understand. I don't know what I'm doing. This is too much work for me. This is too hard. And at that point, they're adults and they can just turn around and walk out. And this shows that gap. This shows the readiness gap. So if you look at this, 10%, this is the highly selective colleges, the selective four-year universities. So those top tier, private and public schools, the UCs, the private schools, 10% are not ready. When they get there, they have a problem. Okay, so that's not too bad. 10%, you think, okay. Well, then we go to the less selective four-year schools. So this would be, they require a diploma and college prep curriculum and a grade point average, but higher grade point average, but it's not the top tier. Well, then we get to about 30% get there and they go, wait a minute, the kids, I'm not ready for this. And they turn around and walk out. And then this one, this is what I'm mostly concerned about. And this is the non-selective 2-year. So this would be your BC and your Taft and your community colleges. This is open access. Anybody can go after high school. They require a high school diploma, but it doesn't have to be college prep classes. And you see this 60%. That starts to get way up there. So that means that 60% of the kids who walk into BC are not ready and they cannot do college work. So they tend to drop out. And I really, really want to make sure I get that message across to you that let's push our kids now. Let's give them the support. Let's make it a safe environment, but keep that bar up high and say, you can do it, and push them and make it meaningful. And they can develop that stamina and that endurance so that when they get to college, they go, I got this. And that's some of the best compliments that we get at Valley Oaks is kids coming back and going, I got it. I did history class. I did English classes. I wrote 10-page research paper. I got it. I've done oral presentations, and they are set. And that just warms all of our hearts that we know we're doing our job. So hang with me on that when it feels like, gee, this is a lot of work. Gee, this is too much. We're trying to build that stamina in them so that they can show themselves in that safe environment. You can do this. You're ready for this. And we're going to get you ready, right? And it's okay if you don't get it all. It's okay if you stumble and fall, but you're going to learn those skills to get you to the next step. Okay. All right. So how do we do that? We're going to focus on the essentials, very basic ways. First parts to doing this. First is a clear, coherent curriculum. So we have our textbooks, we have our novels. I'm a big proponent in reading a lot of classics, reading a lot of really hallmarks of literature, to broaden their base. We're going to do a lot of fiction and nonfiction reading in a pretty broad area. We're also going to do some student choice reading, free choice reading for high interest. The second essential is sound instruction, and that's where the online, virtual learning can be a little trickier, but we're already used to that at Valley Oaks with a different schedule, the modified schedule that we had prior to the shutdown. So really important that we'll need your support in getting the kids to log on to the Zoom classes and be on time and engage, have their camera on so they can engage and interact with us and take advantage of the direct instruction that we're going to provide. And the third essential is that authentic literacy. That's really practicing the reading, the writing, the speaking, the listening. That's what it's all about. And we're trying to teach them those critical thinking skills to be able to take anything and whether it's a reading or something they're watching or something they're being told, that they can apply those critical thinking skills and work their way through it and to an understanding. So that authentic literacy is just a lot of that practice. They should be reading an hour a day. They should be writing at least 45 minutes a day. Again, building that stamina up for them. And it won't be easy. It hasn't been easy. Those of you who know you're here, but it's absolutely something that can be done. And it's never necessarily comfortable because you're pushing yourself, and that's a good thing. So these are the essentials that we'll cover and how we'll do that. The student resource guide. So I talked about details, and again, the student resource guide, this is where you will find these items, the syllabus and with all the details, the expectations for a physical and virtual classroom. And again, your support is going to be really important to get your students logged on time and engaged for those Zoom classrooms. And all the other details, the codes on TAC and writing resources, plagiarism, I'll talk a bit about that later, and then oral presentation. So please hang on to that. All the resources are posted in Google Classroom. So I mentioned a paperless class. Everything that you'll get in this handout will be on Google Classroom, but I wanted to put it together just to hold it and have it and make it easier to refer to for you. So having said that, Google Classroom is going to be our container, basically, of learning platform, learning management system that we're going to use. Weekly agendas will be posted in Google Classroom. and with a daily assignment. It'll be a little bit different for those of you 11th graders. It'll look a little bit different, but the idea is the same. They give you the list of things that need to be completed. Parents need to be able to access this Google Class. So parents, please make sure you have the code. Your student can give you the code so that you can get on and look around and be familiar with the classroom. Okay, there is a parent expectations section of the agenda. So every day we'll be asking parents to have some sort of feedback, and that will be on the agenda. And then again, all home educators should be able to access that Google Classroom at any time. So please make sure you're familiar with that. There is a section, parent resources, on there, so it's for you. Grades, everybody's concerned about grades, which is really important, of course. The main idea that I would love for you to focus on is growth. I want you to, and your students, to look at where are they now in terms of their skill level and their comfort in getting through the work and understanding, and where they want to be and where we want them to be, that growth. And I get a lot of parents and a lot of kids saying, how can I improve my grade? How do I get this grade? Why is my grade this? And I really just want to ask, shift that focus a little bit on growth, on where is your skill level, because it's not always reflected precisely in the grade. It's a good indicator, of course. So if you can see the percentages here, if the student is engaged and working and doing all of the assignments, they will be fine. And they're not going to test for 20%. If they fail the test, it's not going to tank their grade completely. But I want to make sure that it's not just focusing on, I got to get that A, I got to get that A. I want them to focus on, look at how I'm growing. I couldn't do this last year, and now I can. I couldn't do this last month, and now I can. And pushing themselves with writing and struggling with the complexity of things. So again, growth is really important. Having said that, I do a whole lesson throughout the year, activities that we will focus on growth mindset. That goes with what I just talked about, really teaching the kids that this growth mindset is where we want to be. We want to persist despite, lots of obstacles, and we want to learn from feedback instead of feeling criticized. We want to embrace those challenges and push ourselves. Growth mindset is something that we all need, but particularly students, sometimes I think as adults, we forget how hard it is to be a student. You're being judged, you're being tested, you're being, every day. And it's hard, and it's easy to drop into that. Okay, what do I need to do to get it done? How do I get the A? How do I get the B? And we want to kind of open their minds and say, let's not worry about that. Let's worry about just learning, and the rest will come. So we work a lot on that. And that comes from a psychologist named Carol Dweck, and who has a whole series on this, a book and activities that go with this growth mindset. So we'll work on that. Plagiarism, this is sort of a newer problem that we have. Plagiarism is presenting someone else's words or ideas as your own without giving the due credit. So in the age of technology, the internet is at the student's fingertips. I say I've never met a student whose plan it was to plagiarize. No student goes into something saying, I'm going to cheat. That's going to be my game plan. They panic. They're kids. They get overwhelmed. They don't have their confidence. They think what they did isn't good enough. And it's so easy to just get on the computer and find exactly what they need and copy it. So we really need, again, that growth mindset. Do your work and let's keep working on it to make it better, but don't do things that aren't right. Don't cheat. And we have a computer app, Turnitin, that the students will be required to use to make sure their papers are indeed their own work. So we'll talk about that more with the kids. The technology, try to limit it so that we're not too overwhelmed. Maybe as the year goes, we'll keep adding as we see what our needs are, but everything stems from that student Gmail, the school student Gmail account, which is linked to the classroom, Google Classroom. So everything starts from there. Remind is my best way of communicating, so we'll get you signed up for that. and Turnitin is also the application I just talked about. And there will be more as the year comes, but these are our basics. We have free choice reading. This is really important to me. I, of course, am a reader, loved reading, always have, and many of your kids are as well. But we really want to make some time in there for the kids to choose reading they want. So each quarter they'll get to choose a book and share for pure enjoyment. And as long as it's okay with you, whatever they're reading, it's okay with me. I want it appropriate level, difficulty level, and length for school. And they'll do a fun little assignment, and hopefully we can get them to enjoy reading if they don't, or just reinforce that reading is a habit and it's a thing that they enjoy doing. So there's some resources and a parent letter for you on Google Class about that. Okay, so to wrap it up, our responsibilities here. I see us as this three-legged table. I've used this comparison before. So the three legs on this table are the parent, the student, and the teacher. And the table needs those three legs to stand tall, right, to be firm and secure. If one of those legs is broken or damaged or bent or weak, the whole table can topple over. And I see that as us. We all need to do our part to get that good result, that good result that I know we have had for years with many students and families. So boils down to this, that the parent, that part of the responsibilities is really to be that home educator, follow up with the daily feedback, to be that support. You're there, you're with them, you are the first line of support for them. So if you can supervise them, if you can ensure best practices, if you can be the go-between if your student needs that. Many students are a little shy and quiet and they just need to be nudged. And reach out to me if you need to. If I'm reaching out and I'm not getting much from the student, I'll go to you and say, can you please help me? And I expect the opposite as well. If you're having trouble with your student, reach out to me and let me help you. Okay. The student duties, we need that self-motivated, self-directed, organized student. Sounds like the perfect student, but hopefully they are engaged. That's really all I want. I need a student to be engaged, to be willing to learn and to be willing to be pushed. And then we can do anything with that kind of a student. So if they're struggling, we really just need them to be willing to take help, to take support from you and from me. And they need to be able to communicate if they're struggling or whatever they need. And that we're there for them. And then my part is providing that direct instruction, the objectives, the assignments, the materials, and really putting together a good, solid program. And again, I feel really confident that we've done that. And we'll continue to do that. Maintain the grades and the records, for your student progress, and then to be there for you. And I see that as my main goal, is to support you, to support your student. I will do any and everything possible to achieve your goals and your students' goals, and to make sure that they are prepared for the next step. That's what drives me. That's what keeps me awake, is saying, am I doing everything for my student? I never want a student in years to come say, oh man, that Valley Oaks, that English teacher, she didn't help me. I'm not ready for this when they're sitting in college. I never want that. So I want them to, they kind of see it like, you don't have to thank me now for making you write papers and read a bunch. And they're not going to. It's like being a mom or a dad. They're not going to thank you for making them eat their vegetables. But as time goes on, then they'll start to see and go, oh, now I get it. Boy, that really helped me. And so that's what I see is to be that person, to be that supporter, and that person that can help them get to that next level and feel confident, so that when they do get to college, they can do it. And they're not going to be one of those that walks out because they're not prepared. So hopefully with all of our efforts, we can achieve that for your students, because they certainly deserve that. So I look forward to a great year. And again, I remind us all that there will be probably some steep valleys, some steep steep mountains and low valleys as the year progresses with we don't know what's going to come at us, but that we are patient and we are kind and we are flexible with ourselves and with each other so that we have a really good experience and do right by your students. So take care and thank you for listening.